Session 3. In this third session, we're going to add 2 more North American English vowels, and we're going to contrast them against vowels we've already learned. We've already worked on present tense and plural and possessive endings, so now we'll add ed endings, regular past and past participle forms of verbs. We've already talked about stressing special syllables in words. Now we're going to start looking at the other side of that, something very important. We're going to work on not stressing other words and syllables. This is a cause of much confusion between native and non-native English speakers. And speaking of non-stress, we'll work on 2 more indispensable sounds in North American English that are related to non-stress. We'll practice linking words together using these 2 new speech sounds. We'll consider another kind of compound word or phrase, and we'll see about the stress of those words and phrases. And finally, we're going to see how another common suffix changes the stress of many words. First, the vowels. We've already worked on these vowels: 1, E, 3, A, 4, E, 5, A, 6, A, 10, U, and 11, Now we'll add 2 more vowel sounds, and the first vowel sound sounds a lot like vowel sound 1. It's vowel sound 2. Listen to these 2 vowels. 1, E, and 2, E. Vowel sound 1, E. Peat, feel, bead, sheep. Vowel sound 2, E. Pit, fill, bid, ship. Listen to them side by side. Peat, pit, feel, fill, bead, bid, sheep, ship. Listen to these sounds and say which vowel you hear. 1, E, or 2, E. E, E, 1. E, E, 1. E, E, 1. E, 2. E, 1. E, 2. E, 2. E, 1. E, 1. E, 2. E, 1. E, 2. E, 2. E, 1. E, 2. E, 1. Good. Now listen to these words and say which vowel sound each word has. Heat, heat, 1. Hit, hit, 2. Hit, hit, 2. Heat, heat, 1. Fill, fill, 2. Fill, fill, 2. Feel, feel, 1. fill, fill, 2. Feel, feel, 1. Bean, bean, 1. Bin, bin, 2. Bean, bean, 1. Bin, bin, 2. Bin, bin, 2. Bin, bin, 2. Cheap, cheap, 1. Cheap, cheap, 1. Chip, chip, 2. Cheap, cheap, 1. Chip, chip, 2. Chip, chip, 2. Cheap, cheap, 1. Cheap, cheap, 1. Now, let's add 2 familiar vowel sounds, A, 3, and E, 4. Now we have 4 vowel sounds, 1, E, 2, I, 3, A, and 4, E. Listen. Vowel sound 1, E. Peep, feel, bead, sheep. Vowel sound 2, I. Pit, fill, bid, ship. Vowel sound 3, A. Pate, fail, bade, shape. Vowel sound 4, E. Pet, fell, bed, ship. Listen to these 4 vowel sounds and name which vowel number each sound is. E, E, 1. A, 3. E, 1. E, 4. E, 1. I, 2. I, 2. E, 1. I, 2. E, 4. E, 1. I, 2. I, 2 again. E, 4. A, 3. E, 4. E, 1. I, 2. E, 1. E, 4. A, 3. E, 1. I, 2. E, 1. Good. Now listen to these words and say which vowel sound number each word has. Heat, 1. Hit, 2. Pill, 2. Head, 4. Fill, 2. Fill, 2 again. Fell, 4. Fill, 2. Fail, 3. Bean, 1. Bin, 2. Bane, 3. Ben, 4. Bid, 2. Bead, 1. Cheap, 1. Sheep, 1. Shape, 3. Cheap, 1. Chip, 2. Ship, 2. Peep, 1. Pit, 2. Ship, 2. Bead, 1. Bed, 4. Bid, 2. Bed, 4. Bit, 2. Beat, 1. And now let's look at another vowel sound that isn't common to many languages. It's the North American English sound er. It's the vowel sound in such words as words, first, sir, third, world, earth, purple, certain, curtain. When we make the sound, we pull the tongue back. Some people curl the tongue back a little bit. Listen. Words, first, sir, third, world, earth, purple, certain, curtain. Now you try it. Repeat, please. Words, first, sir, third, third. World, world. Earth, earth. Purple, purple. Certain, certain. Curtain, curtain. Don't be discouraged. This isn't an easy sound. You may need to practice it a lot. Let's move on now to verb endings. Last session, we worked on the S endings, the endings for plural or possessive nouns and for present tense verbs. Today, we're going to work on another important verb ending, the ed ending for irregular past tense and past participle forms. You remember there are 3 different pronunciations for the S endings. Well, there are 3 different pronunciations for the ed endings too, and they're kind of related. You remember the voiceless sounds in English, p, k, f, th, s, sh, and ch. And h don't happen at the end of words, so we won't worry about those now. If a word ends with p or k or f or th, the voiceless sounds except for the t sound, the ed ending will also be voiceless. It will sound like t. So listen. Jumped, liked, laughed, missed, watched. Now, repeat them after me, and be sure the final ending is t. Jumped, jumped. Liked, liked. Laughed, laughed. Missed, missed. Watched, watched. You remember the voiced sounds are b, d, g, r, v, z, j, d, m, n, l, Now here are some verbs that end with a voiced sound, and when we add the ed ending, we say the ending with voice also, so it sounds like d. Listen. Robbed. And notice the vowel before the voiced consonant is longer. Robbed. Phoned. Called. Seemed. Judged. Snoozed. Played. Nagged. And repeat them, please. Robbed. Robbed. Phoned. Phoned. Called. Called. Seemed. Seemed. Judged. Judged. Snoozed. Snoozed. Played. Played. Nagged. Nagged. Then there is a third category of final ed sounds. Those are the verbs that end with t or d. When a word finishes with a t or d, and we need to add an ed ending, we make it a little easier for ourselves. We add an extra syllable for the ed. We add a. Listen, please. Added. Do you hear the extra syllable? Added. Needed. Rested. Ended. Trusted. Now, you repeat them after me, please. added, added, needed, needed, rested, rested, ended, ended, trusted, trusted. Be sure you're making the extra syllable. Let's do some sentences with these 3 ed endings. First, listen and see if you can hear the differences, and see how they link to the words that follow. Listen. They danced in, they danced in, they danced in the moonlight. We walked on, we walked on, we walked on the beach. You tricked us, you tricked us. I called a friend of mine. I called a friend of mine. She poured a glass of wine. She poured a glass of wine. He used all the towels. He used all the towels. We pasted it on. We pasted it on the fridge. We pasted it on the fridge. You needed a hand. You needed a hand. We loaded our camera. We loaded our camera. Now, repeat them after me, please. They danced in, they danced in, they danced in the moonlight. They danced in the moonlight. We walked on, we walked on, we walked on the beach. We walked on the beach. You tricked us. You tricked us. I called a friend of mine. I called a friend of mine. She poured a glass of wine. She poured a glass of wine. He used all the towels. He used all the towels. We pasted it on. We pasted it on the fridge. We pasted it on the fridge. You needed a hand. You needed a hand. You needed a hand. We loaded our camera. We loaded our camera. Practice these often. This is a good time to introduce a very important North American English speech sound, one that you've probably heard many times and you've probably been confused by it. In fact, native speakers don't pay much attention to it. They just use it all the time. It's the sound r, r, r. If you speak some languages, for example, Spanish, this may sound a little like your R sound. It isn't the R sound of North American English. This is the sound of D or T when it happens between 2 vowel sounds. Listen, please. Nodded, nodded. Patted, patted. Heated, heated. Do you see how the D and T sound alike when they happen between 2 vowels? You might hear that the vowel is a little longer when it's before the D. Now you say them, please. Repeat and remember the R. R, R. Knotted, knotted, and knotted, knotted. Patted, patted, and patted, patted. Heated, heated, and heated, heated. We use this flap when we have a D or T sound between two vowel sounds. And remember that in our system, the is a vowel sound. So listen to these groups of words. What are you doing? What are you doing? Did I tell you what happened? Did I tell you what happened? Could I open a window? Could I open a window? They can finish a photo. They can finish a photo in an hour. They can finish a photo in an hour. He stood on the stair. He stood on the stair. We needed a hand. We needed a hand. Now you try it, please. Remember the sound of t or d between two vowels is not t or d. It's a completely different sound. It's the sound r. Repeat, please. What are you doing? What are you doing? Did I tell you what happened? Did I tell you what happened? Did I tell you what happened? Could I open a window? Could I open a window? They can finish. They can finish. They can finish a photo. They can finish a photo. They can finish a photo in an hour. They can finish a photo in an hour. He stood on the stair. He stood on the stair. We needed a break. We needed a break. Okay, let's talk about two features of stress, and then we'll work a little bit on the importance of not stressing. First, there's the question of where to put the stress in words that finish with al or ial or ual, in ul or ial or ual. This is an adjective suffix. Listen and try to make a general rule for the stress of words that end in ul. General, genial, usual, visual, material, exceptional. Can you hear it? The usual place for stress in AL words is two syllables before the AL ending. Listen. Medial, radical, economical, cultural, international. Now you try it. Repeat, please, and be careful to put the most stress two syllables before AL. General, general, genial, genial, usual, usual, visual, visual, material, material, exceptional, exceptional, medial, medial, radical, radical, economical, economical, cultural, cultural, international, international. Last session we practiced phrases of adjectives and nouns together, and we noted that when an adjective and a noun are together, we usually give the greater stress to the noun. A cheap cigar, an expensive house, the old woman. This session, let's consider a noun and a noun combination, either one word or a phrase. Listen, please, and try to make a general rule for the stress of noun plus noun words or phrases. Listen. Truck driver, police officer, babysitter. Are you getting a general rule? In a noun plus noun combination, the first noun usually gets more stress. Listen. Efficiency report, water glass, buttonhole, hospitality room, birthday, birthday party, wristwatch, business letter, CD player. Now, you try it. Repeat after me, please, and be sure to put more stress on the first noun. Truck driver, truck driver. Police officer, police officer. Babysitter, babysitter. Efficiency report, efficiency report. Water glass, water glass. Buttonhole, buttonhole. Hospitality room, hospitality room. Birthday, birthday. Birthday party, birthday party. Wristwatch, wristwatch. Business letter, business letter. CD player, CD player. Good. In compound nouns or noun plus noun phrases, we almost always put the stress on the first noun. We've already spent a lot of time on what and how to stress in English speech. Now it's time to consider what and how not to stress, and this too is very important. There are 4 levels of stress in English, but we don't need to worry so much about those. When we speak in English sentences, we put the most stress on the most important words, the adjectives and nouns, the main verbs, and the adverbs. And we stress those words by saying them with more force, and by changing the pitch of the word, and by pronouncing the most stressed vowel very clearly, and by saying the stressed word or syllable for a longer time. We normally don't stress the little function words, the words that are necessary for grammar, but are less necessary for meaning. We normally don't stress prepositions, pronouns, helping verbs, and little words like and the. When we don't stress a word or syllable, we say it with less force, and we don't pronounce the vowel clearly. In fact, we give this unclear vowel a special separate name. We call it schwa. This vowel is not high and not low and not front and not back. It's not anything in particular. It's just a very neutral, unclear vowel. Listen, can you hear the differences in stress? One of the people. Mouse on the roof. Can you hear that some vowels are not clear? One of the people. Mouse on the roof. Take a bite. Explain his position. One of the last remaining examples. Over to his mother's house. Under every desk. Not stressing is very important in English. If you stress a word or a syllable too much, if you pronounce unstressed vowels too clearly, you'll confuse the natives. Let's practice single words, and please be sure not to stress any but the stressed syllables. This is very important. Extravagant. Extravagant. Record. 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 Ordinary. Ordinary. Industry. Industry. Industrial. Industrial. Apartment. Apartment. Accident. Accident. Accidental. Accidental. Eventual. Eventual. Carrier. Carrier. Career. Career. Assortment. Assortment. Development. Development. Necessary. Necessary. Elementary. Elementary. Management. Management. Now let's do some full sentences. Be careful not to pronounce the unstressed parts clearly. Repeat, please. We've gone in the YMCA. We've gone in the YMCA. They're talking about the IPO. They're talking about the IPO. I like the place. I like the place. I don't like the plays. I don't like the plays. What can you tell our DA? What can you tell our DA? Take the report. Take the report. Take the report to a VP. Take the report to a VP. What are you doing? What are you doing? Did I tell you? Did I tell you what happened? Did I tell you what happened? Could I open a window? Could I open a window? They can finish. They can finish. They can finish a photo. They can finish a photo in an hour. They can finish a photo in an hour. He stood on the stair. He stood on the stair. We needed a hand. We needed a hand. So far in this course, we've worked on some very important information. We've worked on vowel sounds 1, E, 2, I, 3, A, 4, E, 5, A, 6, A, 10, oo, 11, and 12, And we've combined even more information about voicing and non-voicing, and stops and continuance, and linking words together. And we've examined how these factors affect our pronunciation. We've examined how we stress some common phrases, and we've seen how some common suffixes change the stress of words. We've begun to work on the importance of not stressing some words and syllables, and in the course of that, we added two very important sounds in North American English. One was the sound of d or t between vowels, the flap r, 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 and the other was the unclear, unstressed vowel called the schwa. In our next session, we'll add more vowels and we'll spend more time linking and blending sounds together. We're going to work on not pronouncing the first sound of some small words. Please listen to and practice tracks 1 through 14 at least 5 times before going on to session 4, and choose 3 sentences to use in a conversation with native speakers. For example, what are you doing? Or, what could you tell me? Or, could I open a window? Or, could I ask a favor? Use them even if you feel a little silly. You want to begin changing your accent. This is the end of session 3. Till next time. Session 4. In this session, we're going to contrast 3 North American English vowels, and we'll work on contractions, very popular with North American English speakers. And we'll work with a little shortcut we use when we're using some function words that start with H, with H. And while we're working on the subject of function words, we're going to do some work with the helping verbs, with can and can't, will, could, and would. And finally, we're going to see the effect of another common suffix on the stress of some words. Let's get going. First, the vowels. Today we're going to concentrate our attention on 3 vowels we make in the back of the mouth. You remember 10, oo. Here are 2 more back vowels, 8, o, and 9, Vowel number 8, o, is not difficult to distinguish from the others. It's the sound in no, goat, show, coat. No, go, show, coat. You'll notice this sound really isn't one sound. It's really 2 sounds, one gliding into the other. O, O, O. Listen, and listen for 2 sounds. Boat, boat. More, more. Soap, soap. Fold, fold. Bowling, bowling. Coke, coke. Now, you try it, and be careful to glide the 2 sounds together. O, O, O. Repeat, please. No, no. Go, go. Show, show. Coat, coat. Boat, boat. More, more. Soap, soap. Fold, fold. Bowling, bowling. Coke, poke. Now you know two back sounds. There's one more vowel sound between 8 O and 10 oo. And that vowel sound, number 9, is more difficult to hear at first. The sound of 9 is This is not a very common sound, so don't worry about it too much. We make our lips round for all the back vowels, but the higher the number, the more we round our lips. For just a moment, let's try to distinguish between 8 O, 9 and 10 oo. Vowel number 8, O. Listen. Pole, full, float, showed. Vowel number 9, listen. Pull, full, foot, should. Vowel number 10, oo, listen. Pool, fool, food, shooed. Now test your hearing. Listen and decide if you're hearing 8 O, 9 or 10 oo. Listen. Oo, oo, 10. Oo, oo, 10. O, 8. 9. Oo, 10. 9. O, 8. Oo, 10. 9. 9. Oo, 10. O, 8. 9. Oo, 10. O, 8. How did you do? Listen to these words. Decide if you're hearing 8 O, 9 or 10 oo. You, 10. Yo, 8. Good, 9. True, 10. Goad, 8. Crude, 10. Crook, 9. Croak, 8. Flew, 10. Flow, 8. Look, 9. Luke, 10. Group, 10. Truth, 10. Goo, 10. Let's take a look at contractions. You know that English speakers often connect their words together and make them shorter. Here are some contractions. For is, please notice, after a voiced sound, the S is voiced, And after a voiceless sound, the S isn't. Listen. He's, she's, it's, that's, this is, what's, when's, where's, how's. Now, you say it. Be careful about voicing. Repeat, please. He's, she's, it's, that's, this is, what's, when's, where's, how's. Listen, please. He's a hero. He's a hero. Can you hear the words linked together? He's a hero. She's on a trip. She's on a trip. It's still old. It's still old. That's funny. This is a mystery. This is a mystery. What's he doing? What's he doing? Where's it going? Where's it going? When's she arriving? When's she arriving? Now you try it. Repeat, please. She's on a trip. She's on a trip. Are you being careful to link the words together as the native speakers do? She's on a trip. It's still old. It's still old. It's still old. That's funny. That's funny. This is a mystery. This is a mystery. What's he doing? What's he doing? Where's it going? Where's it going? When's she arriving? When's she arriving? For R, listen. We're. Do you hear how R becomes just one more sound attached to we? We're. You're. There. How. When'er. Whatter. Do you hear the flap? Now you try it. Repeat, please. We're. You're. There. How. When'er. Whatter. Did you make the flap? Listen. You're late. You're late. We're sorry. We're sorry. They're wrong. They're wrong. What are you doing? What are you doing? When are we leaving? When are we leaving? Why are you sitting? Why are you sitting? Now you say it. Repeat. You're late. You're late. We're sorry. We're sorry. They're wrong. They're wrong. What are you doing? What are you doing? When are we leaving? When are we leaving? Why are you sitting? Why are you sitting? For does, this happens in questions. Listen for flaps between the vowels. What is, where does, when does, why does, how does. Now you try it. Be careful to make the flaps when they apply, that is, when the D happens between two vowels, remember? What is, where does, when does, why does, how does. Listen to these sentences. What does it mean? Do you hear the flap? What does it mean? Where does it go? When does he leave? Why does she do that? How does it happen? Now, you try it and be careful to make that flap. What does it mean? What does it mean? Where does it go? Where does it go? When does he leave? When does he leave? Why does she do that? Why does she do that? How does it happen? How does it happen? For did, again, this happens in questions. Listen for the flaps again. What did, where did, when did, why did, how did. Now, you try it. What did is it's kind of cheating, but North Americans make it a flap anyway. What did, where did, when did, why did, how did, and in sentences. Listen. What did it mean? What did it mean? Where did it go? Where did it go? When did he leave? When did he leave? Why did she do that? Why did she do that? How did it happen? How did it happen? And you try it. Careful of the flaps and the linking. What did it mean? What did it mean? Where did it go? Where did it go? When did he leave? When did he leave? Why did she Why did she do that? Why did she do that? How did it happen? How did it happen? For will, listen. I'll, you'll, he'll, she'll, it'll, hear the flap? We'll, they'll, this'll, that'll, what'll, when'll, where'll, how'll, who'll. Listen, please. What'll we do? Can you hear the flap in what'll? What'll we do? When'll you come? When'll you come? Where'll they go? Where'll they go? I'll let you know. I'll let you know. We'll see you later. We'll see you later. He'll never make it. He'll never make it. Repeat these sentences after me, please. What'll we do? What'll we do? Did you make the flap? What'll we do? When'll you come? When'll you come? Where'll they go? Where'll they go? I'll let you know. I'll let you know. We'll see you later. We'll see you later. He'll never make it. Make it. He'll never make it. For would, I'd, the glottal stop, remember? I'd, you'd, he'd, she'd, it'd, you hear the flap? We'd, they'd, this'd, that'd, when, where'd, how'd. I'd like to see a menu. Hear the glottal stop in I'd and like. This sounds like the contraction for did. Natives have to listen to the whole sentence to know whether this contraction is for did or for would. He'd often call his family. She'd let you know. She'd let you know. We'd see you later. We'd see you later. He'd never make it. He'd never make it. Now, repeat these sentences after me, please. I'd like to see a menu. I'd like to see a menu. He'd often call his family. He'd often call his family. She'd let you know. She'd let you know. We'd see you later. We'd see you later. He'd never make it. He'd never make it. For can. This is a little tricky too. When we say can, we almost don't say the vowel, the a, at all. The word sounds like can. Listen. I can tell. He can count. Can I go? Where can they go? How can you tell? Can you give me change? Where can I get a drink? Now listen to the negative, can't. The not part is difficult to hear, but the vowel is very clear. Listen, I can't tell. He can't count. Can't I go? Why can't they go? Now you try to make the two words. Be sure to make the can very short, kun. Be sure to make the vowel in can't very clear. Repeat, please. I can tell. I can tell. I can't tell. I can't tell. He can count. He can count. He can't count. He can't count. Can I go? Can I go? Can I go? Can I go? How can he tell? How can he tell? Why can't he tell? Why can't he tell? Why can't he tell? Where can I get change? Where can I get change? Why can't I get change? Why can't I get change? Clear? Now, here are a couple more things you should know about reductions of words in North American English, and the second depends on the first. So the first thing is that when we pronounce pronouns that begin with an H, huh, that's he, his, her, him. And when we pronounce the helping verbs that begin with an H, that's have, has, and had, helping verbs. If they're in the middle of a stream of speech, we usually don't bother to pronounce the h. So we link the sound before h, h, to the sound after h, h. For example, listen. Yes, he will. No, he won't. That's his car. That's her brother. Tell her story. Don't tell him the secret. Listen, where have his kids gone? Where have his kids gone? What have you put in my pocket? What have you put in my pocket? Where has he lived in Asia? Where has he lived in Asia? You can see that if we don't say the H, the H, in a lot of these helping verbs, we can reduce them a lot. So now you try it. Repeat, please. Yes, he will. No, he won't. That's his car. That's his car. That's her brother. That's her brother. Tell her the story. Tell her the story. Don't tell him the secret. Don't tell him the secret. Where have his kids gone? Where have his kids gone? Where have his kids gone? What have you put in my pocket? What have you put in my pocket? What have you put in my pocket? Where's he lived? Where's he lived in? Where's he lived in Asia? Lived in Asia. Where's he lived in Asia? Remember, because these pronouns and helping verbs are not very important words, we don't say them clearly. We don't stress these words because they aren't the important ones. And lastly, let's look at the common suffix and see if we can make a rule about it and the placement of stress. The suffix we're looking at is the noun ending ity, ity. I'm going to say some words that take the ity ending, And you see if you can see a change of stress when we use this suffix. Real, reality. Human, humanity. Electric, electricity. The stress for these suffixes happens on the syllable just before this two-syllable suffix. Listen. Moral, morality. Objective, objectivity. Necessary, necessity. Now, you try it. Repeat after me, please, and please be careful of your most stressed syllables. Real, real. Reality, reality. Human, human. Humanity, humanity. Electric, electric. Electricity, electricity. Moral, moral. Morality, morality. Objective, objective. Objectivity, objectivity. Necessary, necessary. Necessity, necessity. So far in this course, we've worked on vowel sounds 1, E, 2, I, 3, A, 4, E, 5, A, 6, A, 8, O, 9, 10, U, 11, and 12, And we've also started work on that unstressed, unclear vowel, the schwa. We've spent time on contractions, very popular with North American English speakers. We've seen some new ways to link words together. We've begun to see what happens when we link some function words that start with H, with H, as well as some other very common function words, can and can't, will, could, and would. We've also begun to work with that funny sound that North Americans use instead of t or d when they occur between two vowels. It's the r, and we're calling that sound the flap. And finally, we've begun to see the effect of some new suffixes on the stress of some words. In our next session, we'll add more vowels, and we'll see how to link two vowels together. We'll work on stress in other kinds of phrases, and we'll spend a lot more time on not stressing the vowels in less important words. And then we'll focus on pitch. This is very important and a very heavy session with a lot of information. Please listen to and practice tracks 15 through 27 at least 5 times before going on to the next CD. And practice using some of these sentences, especially the questions, when you're with native speakers. This is the end of CD 2 and Session 4. Till next time.